this is not a career move. I think it's a stepping stone to something better.
Each year, as spring turns to summer, the great American wheat harvest begins. From Texas to the Canadian border, it's more than a harvest. It's a tradition that built communities and fed a nation. This is the story of the custom harvesters who take on the challenge of bringing in the wheat that feeds the world, and of those who travel from across the globe to be part of the great American wheat harvest.
Hi, I'm Jim Dybert. I am the former owner of JKD Harvesting, and I started my harvest career as an employee of a harvester in 1969. I thought it was a way for me to get into agriculture. My father did not own a farm, he rented a farm, and in 1973 they sold the farm, so my farming career, as I thought of it, had to switch to something that I could own, something that was mine, something that no one could take away from me. In 1976, I went on my own with 2 combines and scared to death that something would happen to one of those combines that I couldn't fix. And we had a good year, had no problems, and so that's how it started. I'll always give credit to DeLoss Ramsey. He was my friend, my partner, my mentor. He taught me a lot of things about custom harvesting, and I'll always say he gave me a master's degree in harvesting.
The 2,000-mile harvest with Jim Dybert, JKD Harvesting in 2007, and then I went back again in 2010. I learned a lot about myself and how to fit into a team, how to work with others, and how to try and get the best out of each other to perform and deliver harvest in an efficient and effective way. It was great to work for Jim, somebody with so much experience.
I am Josh Beckley. I'm a 3rd generation custom harvester from Colby, Kansas. My grandpa started this back in 1955, and then my dad took over about 1979, and I started in about 2005. We ran Gleaner combines from about 1960 through 2004. Then we switched to John Deere in 2005 and ran those until 2022, where we switched to the current Kloss machines that we have now. Some of my favorite things, favorite moments of harvest is, I like the people of harvest is kind of why I like this deal. Every year it's exciting when we get a almost whole new batch of guys in, and the guys that are returning. Just get excited to see all those guys coming in and meeting new people, and being able to learn different parts about different parts of the world, and not only that, but just to get to know everybody personally and how they do things. To employ my guys, I search for all over the world to find people. I hire Americans, and then a variety of nationalities. And the way our process for getting the guys from different countries in, we use a J1 visa and an H2A visa. So I use guys like, Paul Hoare to help lead guys our direction, and then Jordan Beardmore through Ohio State University to work the J1 visa and make sure everybody's qualified. And John's really good about placing guys on crews that they're going to fit.
My name's Cobus. I'm from a small town in Western Australia called Kojana. I'm about a third generation farm background. Yeah, I'm one of the 3 grain cart operators. We're here in Hobart, Oklahoma, and the one thing I can say for people to come out and do this custom harvesting in the US is it's a big should if you want to travel America doing this and seeing the country. You spend quality time with people you become mates with. We got about 3 South Africans on the crew and 2 Irish where I'm at the moment, and we're becoming good mates, having some fun at nights, just the usual, and yeah, just long hours if you can hold up to it. And yeah, I'd really highly recommend coming.
So I'm John Beardmore. I am the program coordinator for the Ohio International Intern Program based at the Ohio State University. As part of the program, we bring young people that have either graduated from college or are in college overseas studying agriculture or relative discipline to the US so they can come out and do placements on farms, harvest crews. As part of the program, we work with about 10 select harvest crews. We want to work with the best. Having done the harvest crew myself 30 years ago when I first came to the US from the UK through the program, and I was very fortunate to have a really good host placement with Farris Brothers. I want everybody else to have that same experience. So we're quite picky. We want to work with the best. These are the crews that look after you, they teach you, and they have a safe operation. So those are what we look for. Each year we bring about 40 or 50 people over to experience life on harvest and farms. So if you've got questions, please get in touch.
The crops that we harvest hard red winter wheat, hard red spring wheat. We do a little bit of canola or rapeseed. We do milo and corn. Once in a while we'll do a little bit of soybeans, but that's primarily the crops that we cut, and we'll cut those from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, South and North Dakota. And then through the fall, in the fall we come back to Texas and Colorado and Kansas to harvest our corn and milo.
So my name is Taft Hughes, and I've been in the U.S. for 35 years, since 1990. And came over here as an agricultural exchange or intern program through the Ohio State University. And I've spent my first season on a farm in Ohio. Started my own business in 2006, and we ran 3 John Deere combines until this last year, 2024. And now I'm just running a forage harvester for Shippers Harvesting out of Hoxie, Kansas. And we also do, between my son and I, we do custom silage hauling.
My name's Paul Hoare. I'm owner of Harvest Support USA UK. I recruit young guys and ladies to come out here to America to join the US Custom Harvest. I first started Harvest Support USA UK in 2010, so we now celebrate 15 years of sending guys out here. Did my first custom harvest in 1984 with Gordon Haynes Harvesting, and I did 2 others after that in 98 and 2001. And then in 2010, David Haynes, who I work for, asked me if I'd be interested in recruiting for him because he wanted to change a policy on their crew, and I said I'll give it a go. So the first year I sent 3 guys out, and the following year 6, and then the third year 13 guys went out to Haynes. And in that year I got approached by a couple of other harvesters, and it has purely snowballed since then. We initially started with H2A visas, but it's actually progressed now more into J1s, working with Master University, University of Minnesota.
I came out here originally because I thought I wanted a change, wanted to get away from England and come out and see America. It's always been a dream of mine to come out and work on big kit, and to come out here and work on kit like this really is just incredible, and I still can't quite believe it. Being able to get my CDL and to drive down the country in a truck is just incredible.
I'm Anna Frick, and I'm an arable farmer and contractor in Lincolnshire. And last year in 2024 I completed a US custom harvest with Paplo harvesting and trucking. Katie and I were the first 2 British girls which they employed, and I'm very lucky to have worked for a fantastic family and employers. Crews in America are also heavily male dominated, and Katie and I were the only 2 females on the crew, which took a little bit of getting used to. But luckily, all of the farmers who we worked for and met along the way were incredibly supportive of us in the industry, and I hope that we can inspire other girls to follow in our footsteps. And this year, Paplos have got 1 crew consisting of all girls, so it's great to see other girls follow in our lead.
So hello, my name's Eleanor, I'm 23 years old and I'm from the UK in Berkshire. I've come out here to the US to further my knowledge. I've just finished my university degree, which is all theory based, and this is really practical, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I've always wanted to work on a custom harvest crew, and now we're with Paplos. We've been in the workshop, we've been building headers right at the beginning, so the combine headers right from scratch, which I think was a really great thing.
My name is David Pratt. I'm from Mast International at the University of Minnesota, and my job is I'm the director of an exchange program, an agricultural exchange program. We have 300 participants each year from around the world and come and have a training in agriculture. And my job is just to make sure we have really good training sites and to help young people have both a agricultural and cultural experience here in the U.S. We work with partners throughout the world, Paul Hoare being one of them, who we work with bringing in students to do harvests.
Hi, I'm Joe Clark and I went on harvest with Jim Diver in 2022. I'd say the biggest things I took out of it were brilliant. It was such a good way to see the proper America. You know, you can go and do it on tours, but I really don't think you get the feeling of proper America until you go on the custom harvest. It was just the amount of people we met out there, not alone the crew members. The crew members, I couldn't have picked a better crew to go with. They were brilliant. We met friends for life, you could say. Sadly, the harvest for us was a bit poor, but in fact, that was a brilliant thing because it gave us so much time to go and travel. But Jim was very good with us. He said, just get yourself off, lads. If you have enough time, like if we had a lot of downtime, he'd just say, go, lads. Diane was brilliant. She'd say to us, you know, a lot of the lads go to Sturgis, so we went to Sturgis for the weekend, and that were incredible. We met so many good people there. We went to the Black Hills, we went to Mount Rushmore. It was brilliant. It was such a good way to see the proper America.
I'm Sam and I've worked for Frederick Harvesting for about 15 years now. Now I guess there's quite a lot of preparation in the spring to get going for harvest. That can get quite busy and that's quite exciting, but it's also nice to leave when you finally move on down the road and you've got everything together. It all comes together for the most part.
Although life on the custom harvest is exciting and rewarding, it also brings its share of challenges. And with shifting politics and real-world pressures, those challenges are only expected to grow in the future.
I guess waiting on weather is the least favourite bit, when it just drags out and you don't get the weather windows. Sort of like we are now, it's rained quite a bit and the humidity's high. We don't really get started much before mid-afternoon. It's pretty tough at the minute. Commodities are not good. I mean, wheat and corn is really not worth much. So it's really hard for us and the farmers too to make it work. And that coupled with machinery keeps increasing in price, which is inevitable, but that squeezes margins, that makes it harder.
Our biggest challenges currently is, machinery price and commodity markets. With markets being low and equipment values being very high, it's awfully difficult to be able to, raise your rates and charge what you need to charge to make money to be able to do it again next year. In harvesting, there's not really a backup plan. There's not really too much of a viable insurance policy that we have available to us to get us back to zero, or to be able to, even nearly almost guarantee that we're going to be able to harvest again next year. If it's a rain year or a drought year, this year's currently a pretty bad drought year through most of the middle of the United States, why, you just have to suck up your belt a little tighter and figure out how to save enough money to be able to do it again next year.
The grain harvesting kind of got to be a tough business in the last few years. The equipment prices, the new equipment's almost, just really hard to justify for a small operator. So the last 3 years, the equipment's taken probably a 15 to 20% jump every year in price, and the price of the used equipment just went down. And there got to be too huge a difference between it, and made it wasn't really working for me to trade. We hadn't run new equipment for a long time, and our combines are just going down in value. I don't know what there's probably a big change coming in custom harvesting as we know and hear of it in the U.S. Maybe a shame the way it's been. I think we're going to see fewer and fewer operators. It's probably like everything in this day and age. It's probably going to go bigger, fewer and bigger operators, just like everything in the ag industry. But there is still a lot of harvesters out here, and I know of several young guys, 2 or 3 outfits that have started up just in the last year or two, and that's really exciting and neat to see them going. And I think I've hoped I've been able to help a couple of them get some work and start out, and that's going to be great to see where they go. And there's still a need for custom harvesting here in the U.S. with all the acres, but it's maybe going to look a little different in the years to come.
I think long term it will be around. There might be less of us, maybe bigger crews to cover the acres, but I honestly hope that the small guys can continue to get into harvesting, running your 1, 2, 3 combine crews and make a good go of it. So it looks bleak, but anything's possible.
I think the future of custom harvesting is good. It has a lot of challenges, but yet because of the shortage of labor, economics of everything, I think that a good custom harvester, or one that brings good equipment in, good crews, is going to always have jobs. I know a lot of farmers here are concerned that the custom harvesters are dwindling, the numbers are dwindling. It is there's a lot of money involved. When I started, it was not near the amount of money that's involved in doing it. I think that, but you're going to have to be on the ball and set your goals and try to meet them and make sure that the farmer's well taken care of. My old banker told me one time, and I've always kept it, he says, Jim, if you plan on a wreck of a harvest, you'll always have a wreck. But if you plan for the good, and so you just get everything ready like you're going to have a real good harvest. And you know, that was very good advice for me.
Completing the 7 months American harvest has subconsciously proved to myself that I'm capable of doing anything that I want to do. There's something very rewarding about being way out of your comfort zone in a new country, having to learn new skills and make new friends. I found it's been the best way to help me grow and challenge myself to do better. So say yes to the opportunities that come your way.
The skills that I gained out there are endless, you know, from people skills, from using machinery, from spannering, you know, we had it all to do. You know, we got a bit of help here and there, and we had an amazing teacher, you know, Jim being there, Simon, Moose, everyone along the team. They took us in as a family, and you know, you can't really get that anywhere else. It is a brilliant place to go. I do crave to go back and do it again, and if you could live back then and go and do it again, I would, and that's why I recommend anyone to go and do it. You learn so much about yourself, you see so much good country, and it's just blooming cool. So wise words from Jim Dybert. The real riches in life aren't gold and silver. It's the people that you meet along the way, and I can't agree with him anymore, especially on the custom harvest.